Wildlife conservationists refer to the strip of land between field and forest environments as edge habitat. This video shows edge habitat in the Hemlock Ridge Nature Preserve in Putnam County, Indiana. The video was produced on October 22, 2011.
I'm Tim Brothers. I'm from the IUPUI Geography Department, and I'm here with Bob Beck of the department and with our classes on a workday project at Hemlock Ridge Nature Preserve. We're here with the Central Indiana Land Trust. The class is working out in the field to one side here, which is part of the preserve, cleaning away volunteer trees from the trees that the trust has planted. The trust is trying to prevent erosion into Big Walnut Creek, just behind us here, by establishing a native tree cover. But the interesting thing about this site where we are right now is that this is the edge of the Big Walnut Forest. And as happens any place where there's an edge along Indiana forest, the exterior conditions penetrate to some distance into the forest. That is, there's more light, there's probably higher wind speed here along the edge, lower humidity, greater temperature fluctuations, both colder and warmer, and in all ways it's more like being in the field adjacent. The forest itself responds to this by growing up more thickly. It's what's called edge effect by conservation biologists. That is, there are many small saplings that fill in that you wouldn't find in such abundance in the interior in shade, and they create, I don't know if you can see it, but if you look down the edge here, they create a sort of a natural wall along the edge. The trees typically lean out, they bend over for the light, and so that in that way the edge is unnatural also. Any big trees along the edge, we have a big ash here behind us, for instance, and then tulip poplar, I guess it is, yeah. Any big trees will branch toward that side preferentially, so they're bare on the inside and have long, heavy branches toward the outside. That's part of the edge effect too. There will be small plants that just grow in the edge. They don't grow in the field because they get plowed, and they don't grow in the forest because it's presumably too dark for them. So there are so-called edge specialists, plants that would have been native in Indiana natural edges, and here they are in the human-created edge.
What would be an example of a small plant that's in the edge? Do you see one around here?
These berry vines would be a good example. These are blackberries or raspberries. It looks like that's a black raspberry. That won't grow in the center of the forest, and although it would grow in the field if it could, the farmer's plow continually eliminates it, so that its natural habitat in Indiana forest must have been along natural edges, for instance along stream banks or around the edges of natural blowdowns where big trees came down. But here it becomes a classic sort of a field edge species.
Could you point it out and actually touch it?
Yeah. This is it. This is a black raspberry. But blackberry would be the same story. It's not exactly certain where a lot of these sorts of edge plants were before people were around, but they must have taken advantage of places where the forest opened up for one reason or another on its own. Fires would do the same thing.
What would be another example of an edge plant that we wouldn't find in the field or in the forest?
Well, let's see.
Around here.
Well, maybe this plant right over here, which is I think a kind of a Joe Pye weed. I'll walk around here and point to it. I think that's possibly what that is.
That's Joe Pye weed?
That's what I think. This is a plant which likes some shade, but typically wouldn't be found much in undisturbed dense forest. It likes disturbed sites where the canopy opens up, and so this might be a good example. If it could, it might be out in this field because this field is growing up in brush now, but in a farmer's annually plowed field it's not going to be found.